I'm sorry, but I can't stop laughing at this. It's the Last Supper. What the hell is going on? Unless you've been living under a rock, you could have possibly missed the havoc caused by the orchestrated arson attacks on the rail network in France, responsible for bringing many, including athletes, to Paris in time for the opening ceremony for the Olympics, which aired last night. But after seeing that, many are wondering why they bothered. A ceremony that looks as if it had been created by someone on a serious acid trip. It was a very watery event which began on the River Seine with 85 boats, with the athletes on board travelling through a lesson in French history. Every stereotype was there. A woman in a dress covered in croissants, can-can dancing. Lady Gaga gave a great performance. Moulin Rouge dancers and parkour on rooftops. There was a ring of fire in the sky and a recently refurbished Notre Dame Cathedral which featured. There were gaffes with country names. South Korea was labelled North Korea. You don't want to do that. There were upside-down flags and a headless Marie Antoinette. Thank God for the closing performance, which was a rendition of Edith Piaf's Hymn to Love, performed by Celine Dion, who is currently battling health issues, though I think God probably would have checked out by now after the woke parody of The Last Supper, which included a blue-coloured character which could have easily been mistaken for Iggle Piggle from the Night Garden, who I thought was meant to be Jesus, but that actually turned out to be Dionysus, the Greek god of the theatre. Around the table were dancers, models, fashion icons and drag queen Nikki Doll from the French version of RuPaul's Drag Race. One of them even looks like me on there. I think this was meant to be some sort of fashion show with a female DJ. Many called it a woke parody of Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. It was shocking. On X, Elon Musk claimed the performance was extremely disrespectful to Christians, and I'm inclined to agree. Remember what happened with Charlie Hebdo? I can't imagine any other faith taking this lying down. The whole thing was bizarre. Attended by an estimated 600,000 spectators, it was a 4-hour show full of technical glitches, bad audio and near torrential rain, with people joking that they really needed to stop the boats. 4 o'clock, let's welcome again my panel, broadcaster and economist Lizzie Cundy, and as a former Labour Party advisor, Matthew Larzer. Lizzie Cundy, I'm starting with you. Did you manage to observe the opening ceremony?
Sadly, I did. I was watching it kind of between my eyes, up behind the couch.
Oh, yeah.
Catastrophique is what I call it. And I think the French state should hang their heads in shame. I really do. They've not only insulted more than half of their own country, but the rest of the world. The Olympics is supposed to bring everyone together and unite. All this did was insult. And Leonardo da Vinci must be turning in his grave with that. I mean, what, by the way, have drag queens got to do with the Olympics? I was totally embarrassed. I think France should be embarrassed. And would they have done this to other faiths? Would they have done this, to Hindu, Islamics? And, I think it's really insulting as a Christian. I'm of Roman Catholic faith, and I was totally shocked. And so many others are too.
Matthew Larzer.
Well, I think it wasn't the most triumphant of opening ceremonies. I didn't see the whole thing. I've only seen the clips. But as far as the controversial, selection of drag queens, I don't think it was insulting to Christianity at all. The Olympics should include everybody. If we believe that, then that should include drag queens. That should include having a bit of a laugh. I do think that the Olympics generally is massively overblown, and it should actually go back to its roots for being about sport and rather than every country trying to outdo itself in the opening ceremony.
Very political. Remember Hitler and all that. Come on, it's been a massive political thing.
It has. But I think the more it's about sport, the less it's about sort of trying to put a country on the map, the better. I don't think Paris, which is the most visited city in the world, needed particularly to people are aware of it. Its brand image is pretty high without the Olympics. Interestingly, I was just looking at who's coming next, which is LA and then Brisbane in Australia. But the one afterwards, Stockholm in Sweden is bidding for it on a very scaled down, saying we're going to spend less money, we're going to concentrate on the sport, and try and do it in a more sustainable way, which seems to me quite a good idea.
But what about the fact that not only that, but they got things wrong like North Korea, South Korea?
That's unforgivable. I thought Dionysus looked like Papa Smurf, and then I got confused because
there was a picture of, but there's a different one. Yeah, but I don't know why that was a different shot to the one. Yeah, but
he
looked like Papa Smurf.
Yeah, and I got confused because I thought thought, hang on, the Smurfs are from Belgium. Are they just being nice to the Belgians? But it turned out it was meant to be Dionysus and they were being nice to Greek
I
gods.
thought it was Eagle Biggle. I thought that looks like the thing from the Night Garden.
Yeah, but this is the Olympics. It's not musical theatre, Matthew. I was totally embarrassed.
We had the NHS, but beds being made in ours,
I
didn't
know
we?
they had a bit of rain, but I was there for the
That's not
Olympic
their fault.
opening in this country in 2012. Let me tell you, we were incredible next to this shambolic mess.
But wasn't that too woke for you with all the stuff that people were complaining in 2012 that the Olympics opening ceremony with their sort of hymn to the NHS and lots of kind of symbols of our industrial past was all a kind of woke Labour left-wing conspiracy?
Yeah, but who gave the woke brigade charge of this whole event? They honestly, it was embarrassing and it was insulting.
I don't think it was for the best run ceremony ever, but I don't think that the problem with that was having a few drag queens in it for a couple of minutes. I think clearly their ambition of trying to do it on the river was a little overambitious. I think next time in 4 years it'll be back in the stadium.
But did they not think that would insult the Christian faith? Did they not think of that?
There is a dispute about whether it's even meant to be the last supper.
I actually think it's appalling what they did, and I don't know who was in charge, but the French state should really have a good look at themselves today, because my friends that are also Jewish and other people who haven't got faith even said, why? Why did they do that?
Well, I think it wasn't meant to be specifically religious.
Do they want to be
and I think
minority?
I thought that France did brilliantly yesterday after those appalling attacks. They did actually get some trains moving again in the afternoon, and they obviously, despite the rain and the few glitches, pulled off a ceremony which, if nothing else, was memorable.
Well,
for the wrong reasons.
Yes, perhaps all the wrong reasons.